First, I wanted to talk about the 5 Mois I talked about, and I thought you'd give me that time.
Yes, and you met all of them.
Because I've met a lot of Mois, including the 5 I'm talking about. First of all, I said that from 1955 to 1956, that was Moi's formation period. One, Moi was a very lucky man. And he's very lucky to have lived also to 96 years. Kenyans were living for 42, 47, 50, and they go. But the man has sustained his life to 96 years, maybe more. But he was lucky that he was not the man that was selected to be MP for village core in the Rift Valley, but John Oletameno. John Oletameno got late.
And he was replaced by Moi.
Yes. First, on the 10th of October 1955, Moi took the oath to serve in Legico. From then to 1966, Moi became a very lucky man in that house. He became the man to chair KADU. He became the man to visit Kenyatta and organize about how Kenyatta would come to lead it until Kenyatta, in fact they built the house for Kenyatta in Ishaweri, right? But
that sounds like hard work, not luck.
No, that is luck. Because it is Reverend Gato that took him. He went and said, where? To Kawana Kenyatta. And they went to Marara to see Kenyatta. Mm-hmm. And they discussed this. Will you agree to come and lead Kandu? Yes. Kenyatta was also a very easy-going man, where luck beckoned.
He agreed to lead Kadu.
Yes, but in Marara, when he came out here, he said, ngoja kidogo hata Kanu nasikia inanitaka. So, but what I'm saying, that was time for formation, until Moi led his group to cross the floor and dissolve KADU.
1964.
And from then on, a problem started emerging that Jaramogi, who was now the man, started seeing a different game. But that is how Moi started emerging. Yeah. Now, from 1966 to 1978, Moi was a very serious victim of the people that did not want him to ever take the presidency. And he agreed. In fact, during this time, I would say seriously that I have never seen a great, humble coward like Daniel Moi. Because of his cowardice and his humility, everybody would poke his nose, spit on him, whatever, and he would not talk about those things.
The Gorokos,
everybody. And because of that, I think he gained admiration, not only around Kenyatta's circle, but also elsewhere, to people who would pull strings to have Kenyatta make decisions about something. And that is how the constitutional campaign in 1976 was stopped, so that Moi could be able to take reins in those 90 days we talk about, in case the president went. I'm talking about Kenyatta's game, that from 1978 for the next 4 years, Moi was trying and tried very hard to learn about how these characters manage. In fact, he left the Mercedes, the 500 Mercedes, to be riding my friend...
The combi.
John.
Yeah. Yes.
My friend Gigi Kariuki.
The van.
And they would go, not the van, the presidential...
limousine. Yes.
And they would go saluting everybody, everywhere, And he left it. Learning. And when he had completed the learning, then kukaingia kisagaa katika parliament, where somebody is saying, we have got a traitor here. And out of that traitor person, and from then on, then Moi started in 1983, after that attended coup, crushing people. In fact, there was a small question that was asked here. I think there are some things that are organized by the state to allow the state managers crush what they call potentials.
Rebellion, eh?
So you think it was not real?
Just hold on, because you are discussing that the fourth Moi. You are now on Moi
You know,
number 4.
now I am on fourth Moi.
Yes, please get to number 5, because I have some questions for
Yes,
you.
and number 5 is 1986 to 2002, because he took that period from 1986 to 1992. First of all, you know, to make sure that there wasn't one character that would come to claim leadership here. He put all of them into prisons. They went looking for Koigi Ndani, Matiba Ndani, Fulani Ndani, Kathangu Ndani, everybody Ndani. And Sunguru was very happy, by the way. You know, and I'll tell you why. But the tipping point, Sunguru remembers this. The tipping point was 1990 to 1992, where Moi, because I think of his presence in the church, his presence, sometimes pretending, and he would carry all the Bibles, about three Bibles.
I'm not sure about that.
Oh, one Bible or
I'm
three.
not sure about that. There are a lot of photographs of president or the former president, and we've not seen any that is carrying 3 Bibles.
But
I want to ask you a question, because you've gone through all the 5, and you described 66 to 1978 as a coward, and then 78 to 83 a crusher. How can a coward crush?
Yeah, he did not do it alone. I'll tell you. In 2002, when he actually engaged my brother Sonkuli.
Which year?
2002.
No, we're in 78 to 83.
I'm talking about 2002. It's an example I'm giving you.
Yes.
It is not Moi who did these things, some of these things. In fact, people did these things to please him.
Right. And
let me just say, don't worry, because we are not fighting, we are only discussing. And you know, 2002, on the 6th of February 2002, I was visiting the Vatican, the Pope. While I was waiting at the corridors with Cardinal Sodano to go and see John Paulo, he whispered, "Excuse me, something has just been announced. You lead a football team."
Raise your whisper for the microphone.
Yeah, you lead a football team in Kenya, and it is a militia group. And I said, "What are you talking about?" Yeah.
That's 202.
202.
Yes.
And so the man brought me a small list. It had 18 groups which had been banned, right? And Runyenje's football club was one of them. Among them, Ugekes, Amachumas, what, 48 brothers, and signed by Sunguru. Sunguru is here. Not Moi. Sunguru is here. So when I came back,
Runyenje's football club.
imagine that. So when I came back here, I got that Kumbe, Sunguri thought that Mimi, I'm just a commander of another group that could overthrow government.
And so you deserve.
And so what I'm saying is this, that it is not Daniel Toroitich Arab Moi that was actually crashing. It is his lieutenants who are doing it. And, you know, even in the detentions that we went to, some of those things were non-existent, but we still served detention.
You've named a potential crusher. I don't know why to call him that. Honorable Sunkuli.
I think I have a right of reply.
Yes.
And the right
In fact, I'll be very happy.
arises because, first of all, Njeru Kathangu and myself go to the same Catholic church.
True.
And we always kneel at the same bench.
Almost next.
And I didn't know that he can come to Kenyan television and say an untruth. First of all, there was never a time that we tried to crush him at the Vatican at all. And I have to go to records because, as you know, there were times, definitely, so that I don't also become a liar, that we did outlaw some organizations like the Jeshi la Mzee, like the
Runyenje's football club. Was it one?
I don't know. I have to look at the records because I don't think that anybody would have outlawed.
And of course, I will not be here cheating
But
the public.
I also think that Daniel Arab Moi also has a right of reply. Unfortunately, he's not here.